Hey, it's the Right Rican, and today I have on Stephanie. She is I caught her one of her memes. A friend of mine shared it. She's on Instagram and Facebook, so I don't know which one it was, but she's a must follow if you love memes. She's the meme queen, as we were talking about. But more than that, I'm gonna let her introduce herself. So I don't want to falsely introduce who she is. So, Stephanie, let my audience know about yourself.
Okay. Well, good evening and thank you for having me on. So my name is Stephanie and I am a spiritual medium and a healer. And I basically just help lift the vibration of the collective and just help souls just awaken to their true soul essence.
So, yeah, like I said, I have an open mind, even though look, I'm Christian, and but and I know I see one of your tattoos. You had a rosary, so I'm assuming you probably were
Yes.
Catholic at one point, just like me.
At one point, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Through baptism, through our
yeah,
parents, my parents. So
yeah. I mean, we're Latinos. We always grow. For the
yeah.
most part, in the Spanish-speaking world, you grow up Catholic, and then you maybe usually move somewhere else. So,
Yes.
so how did you find your spiritual essence? Like, how did you find your spirituality? How did
Yeah.
you get there?
Okay. So like you mentioned, I was Catholic. I did grow up like that. I really didn't go to church. We just kind of went whenever it was like holidays and stuff. And like once I got older, I kind of like tried out Christianity a little bit too. And I had a lot of personal things going on. So I was searching for God, and I was searching for God in the way that, you're raised to, like going into the temple, into the church, praying at home. And I just really noticed that things were just really not improving. And my faith was always there. It was very authentic. Like I was, doing prayers and everything. And as I got older and I had my first child, I got a diagnosis of lupus. And I was working in the medical field. So that kind of put me in a very dark place, And when I was in that energy, I realized that the God that I was searching for was inside of me. Because once I acknowledged that I am, an essence of God, like we are particles of God, like it just shifted my whole everything. Like I kind of broke out of that belief system, like the religion. Like I broke free out of all religions, and I just started like praying to the universe. And it's not something that I searched or Googled. It just naturally came to me. And I just started like doing yoga. Like I was just being guided, like I said, nobody taught me. It just started happening. And I started seeing numbers. This is how it really began. I was working at the hospital, and I noticed every time I looked at the clock, it was always like 511, 911, 222, like a lot of numbers and synchronicities. And I was like, what is that? Like, why is this constantly happening? And I couldn't make it go away. So then I actually started seeing, and I read that was angel numbers. Like when your angels and your guides and God and the divine, they're trying to communicate with you, they communicate through numbers. And so that literally just put me into like this whole, like I started searching, I started doing yoga. When I started doing yoga, I had an awakening, which is like, we have a third eye. A lot of people don't know what that is, but our third eye is like our eye of knowing. It's our connectivity to everything. And what happens is like when we're born, we're so programmed with the foods that we eat, with just habits and routines that our family kind of just pushes in the school system, that we kind of just, our third eye gets fogged, and we're not able to actually connect to what the divine essence that is out there. So I started eating to like decalcify my body, my mind, and it just helped me awaken even more. And like I said, it was just guidance from my angels or God. And that's how my journey began, basically. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So it started through, like I said, like the lupus, like through going through something heavy,
So basically, the lupus made you change your lifestyle, kind of, because it's like not only through spirituality, but through food. Because like I saw
Yes.
that like some of the recipes you put up, like sometimes, like I suck at making rice. Like I suck at it. So instead of
Yeah.
making rice, I'm good at making quinoa, because quinoa is super easy to make and hard to mess up. So what I'll do is like instead of making like yellow rice and beans, I'll make quinoa with beans. Can you? Hello?
If you could hear me, you're completely frozen. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna pause the recording for 1 second. All right, so there we go.
Okay.
So yeah, so like I said, I suck at making rice. So I instead of making like yellow rice and beans, I make
Yeah.
quinoa with beans, and my daughter loves it, and so does my son.
Delicious. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yep, like I said, the lupus, like when I got the diagnosis, like I was working in the hospital, and they put me on so many medications. I was like on 12 pills. I had to do treatments every week, to just stabilize my body. And what happened was that I was very trusting in the medical system, because you trust doctors, you trust the treatment plan. But I noticed that I wasn't really improving myself. I just felt like I was just kind of like shadowing what was really going on inside of me. And one day I just, like I said, I was already connecting to my angels, God, the divine. And I just took all my pills. I flushed everything down the toilet. And from one day to another, I was like, I'm going to heal myself. And so this day I take no medication and I'm 100%. Like I healed myself, and
what is it? I mean, I know I've heard of lupus, but I don't know exactly what it does. Like
okay.
how does it affect people? Like I don't know that much.
So lupus is an autoimmune disease, and what it basically does is it looks at all your organs, your whole nervous system, everything as like an intruder. So your body starts attacking itself. It attacks your brain, your kidneys, your heart, your lungs. And it basically shuts it down. So like I did go through a lot of things with my kidneys, with my heart. I've had surgeries in the beginning, and the medication is supposed to help that. But like I said, it really wasn't. It was just kind of masking it, because it's like if you're not eating right, if you're not taking care of your mind, body, and spirit, you're just taking pills, like just because the doctor's telling you this is what you need. Not to take away from, their knowledge and everything, but a lot of them, I feel like it's one treatment plan for everybody. And
well, I agree with you there, because I go, it's stuff that I talk about on here. I go, when it comes to like obviously the big thing is the coronavirus, COVID-19. I go, at the end of the day, if you're not eating right, if you're not sleeping right, if you're not exercising right, if you get COVID, it's not, it may not be a death sentence, but it might be close to it. But if you do all those three things, you might get it, but you're probably not going to get it that bad.
No, you can take care of it by just eating correctly. And a lot of people don't notice, like when you eat things that are like dairy products, anything that's dairy products produces phlegm and mucus. Okay. The more mucus and phlegm you have in your body, the more prone you are for different sicknesses and illnesses attaching themselves to you. And people eat dairy on a daily, like, it's like you can't tell somebody what to do or change their eating habit, but you have to be very cautious of what you're putting inside of you, because it does factor in,
No, like I just finished, I just sent the check over. Like every couple of months I order uh, grass-fed beef.
Yes.
I order grass-fed beef, and I order it in bulk. So I order a quarter cow, which is like over 100 pounds.
Yeah.
But what's funny is, because I get it from a local source over here, it's actually cheaper than if I go, let's say, to Walmart and get the GMO beef.
Yeah, the prepackaged stuff. It's true.
But granted, I got to buy 100 pounds worth, but it's still, I mean, like I make a chili with it, with the ground beef, and I don't even need to strain the meat. Like like when you buy, I mean, you don't eat meat. You're a vegetarian now, right? Or vegan?
I'm plant-based. Yeah, I don't eat any meat or anything.
So, but you remember back in the day when you had to drain the meat? Well, with this meat that I buy, you don't even have to drain it. Like
it's very clean. You could tell the difference,
Like you could eat, the fat melts and it actually blends with the food. It doesn't just seep out, and it's like, so I mean, I find that healthier. And I mean, studies show that like they tell you to eat fish, because fish is supposed to be high in omega-3s, but when you eat grass-fed beef, they're also high in omega-3.
So
I mean, I'm not, I wish I would eat more healthy,
Mhm.
but I
But it's
do know
okay.
a
You're
little bit.
acknowledging, you're being conscious of like what you're putting, because you do have options, so that's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I try, when, like I said, I don't, sometimes like I don't eat the white rice so much. I'll eat brown rice. I'll eat quinoa. Same thing with the pasta. I'll eat either like whole wheat pasta or I don't, I don't like the chickpea pasta. Like I like chickpea. Like I like falafels and hummus, but I don't like
Yeah.
the chickpea pasta. Like I just don't like the texture of it.
I've seen it at Walmart and I was gonna grab it recently, but I
Uh,
didn't. I ended up grabbing a different one. But now that you're saying, I'm probably not gonna try it. It's like dry,
no, it's actually mushy.
mushy.
It's
Oh,
mushy. So like I like the lentil one better.
okay.
The lentil pasta. If you trying to,
Yeah, yeah.
if you haven't tried it, I found the lentil one it tended to be more firm than the
Okay.
chickpea one. I could have
Yeah,
overcooked
yeah.
it. Who knows? But
Yeah.
uh,
But
but I try to
it's,
do those things like
yeah, it's cool. You're
my
taking action.
my wife has PCOS, like which
Mhm.
is very common with women nowadays.
Okay.
Because when I say that, when my wife says that to people, when they're like, "Oh, me too," and I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know it was that that common." But
Yeah.
so I try to do stuff like her, like maybe like gluten free. So that's why I don't cook with the white rice so much. And
Yeah.
when so there's stuff like that that I know that I follow, for her. So I try not to buy so much sweet stuff because of the fact that I know that that's not good for the PCOS because the hormones and the diabetes, like
Yeah.
pre-diabetes stuff. So I mean,
It's
but
true.
anyway, we're not here talking about me. We're
No, it's
more
okay.
talking
It's okay.
about
No,
you.
it's cool.
Um, but so yeah, so okay, you were talking about with the lupus and how it got you to the dark place, and then in that darkness you found you found your spirituality. Um,
Yeah.
because I see some of your stuff, and you say you didn't search anything, but it seems like you're more like a kind of somewhere like around a Buddhist Hindu kind of mixture. I don't know if you realize
Um,
that.
Yeah, I don't want to attach myself just to Buddhism because I do also work with like Egyptian energies. Like,
Yeah, I
like I
see it in
said,
the
I'm
background.
a yeah, I'm a medium. So for me also what happened is like, and like we all have a bigger plan. Like I feel like everything that happens to us, it's already like aligned and written in the stars. So I feel like everything that did happen to me, it was to get me to the point where I am now. And
Mhm.
also to be able to help others that are just lost and just have like lost faith in everything, because I feel like I'm able to bring that light into situations. But I feel like I never attached myself to like Buddhism or just Egyptian energy, or like I also work with like the African deities and like with the
Mhm.
ancestors. So like I'm all over the place because I am connected to everything. So
Mhm.
in me just staying into one religion, it's basically me suppressing myself and my divinity to everything. You
Mhm.
understand?
Yeah.
So I'm just open to,
Well, like I
yeah.
said, I mean, I'm when it comes to religion, I'm a scholar, so to speak, because I love to like. I remember when I was younger, I owned a book. I actually still have it in my bookcase. It's called the World Religion for Dummies.
Okay. I
So
never
that's
heard of
why.
it, but
Well, it's just you never heard of those like the For
no, I've
Dummies
heard of the
series.
book, but I never heard of that one you're mentioning. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like I
Yeah.
said, I've had it for like 25, 30 years. But
Yeah.
it was just
Okay.
I like I mean I always like to read anyway as it was. So
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean my my degrees in sociology, so I like to study like groups. So
Okay.
religion is part of that, is like trying to, because religion is basically kind of like a set of norms for society to build upon. Um when you want to look at it from a sociological perspective,
Okay.
it's it's kind of that's the way it's framed. I mean, Marx called religion the opium of the masses. So that was
Yeah.
basically, was like saying that religion puts people to sleep, and not in.
It, yeah. Well, I kind of, in a way, like that's kind of like what I resonate with it a little bit because I feel like, the way I conduct myself, I'm very authentic. And like I said, I'm, think you'll get humor out of me. You'll get like sexual, funny humor out of me. You'll get like knowledge out of me. And a lot of people that are in religions, they're so brainwashed to believe that sexuality is like you should be deemed for it. And you don't realize that sexual energy is life force. With sexual energy, you create. It doesn't mean that you have to always do the act of sexual act, but it's a
Oh
life
yeah.
force energy.
Well,
And
I
they
mean,
deem you for
it's
it.
not just. I mean, it's not just the act. It's the foreplay, the
Yeah,
stimulation, the touching. It's it's just like you said, it is an energy because it's like think about like I mean I'm married, so it's different. Well, not too much, but when you first meet somebody and it's like that anticipation, you get that build up, that you get that sometimes if that awkward energy because you don't know how the person's feels towards you and stuff like that. So I
yeah.
mean, so I mean I understand it.
Yeah,
Like I said.
we call it Kundalini energy, and
Mhm.
Kundalini energy is basically connecting to the divine through sexual energy. And I don't know if you're familiar, like with the chakras, but the
I know
chakras,
a
like we all
little
hold.
bit about it because I did
Yeah,
like I said, even though like I said, even though it's, like I'm Christian, but I'm open minded when it comes to that stuff. Like I did yoga, like I love yoga.
yeah.
Like I introduced my wife to yoga. My wife thought I was crazy for a little bit when I was doing the yoga, but she didn't
Like they
realize.
always think you're going crazy. Yeah,
Well, you know what it is because people see yoga and it's like, oh, you gotta the breath, you gotta in the breath, out the breath, and it's like that's not every yoga,
that's
that's
very commercialized.
yeah, that's this, it's like I took a yoga class and the instructor, he showed us like all four poses. So it's like the easier pose for a novice and like the
Yeah,
expert poses for someone who wanted to be challenged. So when
yeah,
he did that, I was like, I was never bored in that class because I always was like, okay, if I'm on one, I want to see how long it's going to take me to get to that fourth pose
yeah,
because it's challenging. It's not, people think, like I said, people think the boringness of the breath and all that stuff and what, you know, yes, there's a meditation aspect to it, but there's also a physicality aspect to it that I think, like you said, the commercial yoga ignores it.
yeah. It's true. They do. And a lot of people that do the yoga, some of them are not really even really truly connected. It just becomes very, like I said, commercialized. But yoga is wonderful. Yoga helped me too. I had a lot of back issues.
Hmm.
And once I started doing yoga, like I'm telling you, I like healed everything. Like I have really no issues other than just joint pain here and there, like when the
Hmm.
weather changes. That you can't make that go away. That comes with the lupus and everything. But other than
Hmm.
that, yoga is wonderful. I don't go to sleep without stretching or in the mornings. It's like medicine for me.
Oh yeah, I need to do it more. I really do.
You'll
Uh,
feel great.
well, I had a foot pain, so I've been taking because I'm flat footed, but I
Yeah.
did PT because it was like finally because I've always dealt with foot pain in my life.
Yeah.
But it was finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, I got to go see the doctor, and the doctor sent me to PT, and I was like, I went to a skeptical on what's a P, what they're gonna do for my foot,
Mhm.
But I was out of options, so I was like, okay, I'll try it. But I was amazed, like within the first two, like the first three sessions, I'm like, my foot doesn't hurt no more.
Yeah.
It's,
You
you
gotta
know,
move into the pain. And that's what I tell people. Like if you're in pain, if you're not doing anything for it, you're just masking it. You're like on an
mhm.
autopilot. You're taking medication, you're not doing nothing. Once you push past that pain, it goes away. Like, you balance it out.
Yeah, no, they show me like because I'm flat footed, so it's like basically they show me exercise because the pain was over here. So they
Yeah.
showed me on how to straighten this side of your foot. So like that, my weight's not all on that side, and it's kind of evening it out.
Yeah.
Uh, Now the only thing that's happening now, I'm getting foot spasms because I'm working muscles on my feet.
Oh yeah. They're like, what's going on? We're not used to this.
Exactly. So, so yeah. So I know, like you said, you post like all this stuff about it's not just it's funny, it's serious, it's because like I've seen your COVID post, I've seen
Yeah.
your sexual jokes, which are hilarious. i'm
Thank you.
I'm well, look, listen, you know um when I was in Texas and I had one of my friends from church, him and I were we were the ones from he was from Chicago and I was from New York. So we would talk, and sometimes he would be like curses would slip out. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, I'm from New York. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Worry about the other
Yeah.
ones around us, because it was like some people don't like that. And it's like, look, an F bomb here and F bomb there. I don't do it on
Yeah.
I don't do it on YouTube, just because the fact that,
Yeah.
um I don't want to give them a reason to nuke my channel. So
Yeah. I
I
feel
know
you.
other people do, but I'm like, I don't mess with that. I try to not curse as much as possible, just because of YouTube. But like I said, when it was him and I, we would just be like, oh, yeah, sometimes the curses would come out. But that's just like, is like living away from New York. When you come across another New Yorker, your accent comes out, because y'all
Yeah.
two talking, and it's like, okay, so like his Chicago was coming out and my New York was coming out, talking to each
Yeah.
other. So, it's, so like I said, so your sexual humor, I find it hilarious. I know
Thank you.
other people may get like offended by that stuff, and I'm like, look,
Yeah, but that's
you
because
gotta have
they're
a,
so programmed, you know, they're so programmed to deem it like it's something negative. It's like laughter to me, laughter is healing, laughter is medicine for us. We're supposed to be able to have fun and be
oh,
silly, you know,
I
it's part
agree.
of our nature. God never
Well,
intended us to be so serious and like that's
well,
not
I agree. I
real.
mean, that's why I'm like, I know you're not politics stuff, but I'll just say this. This is
Yeah,
why I fight like the stuff that's going on, because in the 90s, you used to have the religious right
yeah,
demonizing everybody. Now
yeah,
you have that woke left that you can't make a joke. You
yeah.
make like you're Puerto Rican and Salvadorian, you told me, right?
That's correct.
And
Yes.
I'm Puerto Rican. So if we make Puerto Rican jokes, they want to cancel us. We're like, we're Puerto Rican. If I want to call, if I want to
Yeah,
make a Puerto Rican joke, what's the end of the world? If I want to make a
yeah,
Latino joke, then but to me, I'm just like, you guys are just all the people that they hated in the 90s, they've
yeah,
become now in the 20, well, now it's the 2020s.
yeah,
It's like it's all reversed itself. And now
yeah.
they're the ones that are the Puritans, not letting people make jokes.
Yep. I agree.
Oh, well, thank you. it's like I said, I know you don't like talking politics, so
No, no, but it's
uh
real. It's
so yeah, so I mean, I know you do your readings and stuff like that.
okay.
um so how do you do, because I know you do like I know when I've seen some of your stuff where you do like general. um do you have clients that you read for, or do you
I
do
have,
anything like
yes, I
that?
have many clients, and not, I don't just do readings as well. I also communicate with those that have deceased.
Hmm.
So I do, and those are not like regular readings because that takes more time and energy, and
Hmm.
connecting with those that are no longer here. But I have done that for a lot of people, and I've brought a lot of clarity and just closure and peace to a lot of people that have lost loved ones. And
Hmm.
to me, that's one of my most special. I don't want to say skills, but just my God-given gift. Like that's one of the most,
Hmm.
I love it because I'm able to just bring peace to people, and like I said, this is not something that I chose. It's just in me opening up myself and my third eye to everything. Is just I was able to communicate with that side, and
Hmm.
I'm just very much connected.
Hmm. um so no, I don't know. So that's interesting. I just how you lifted yourself out of a dark place with this, and that
Yeah.
to me, like I said, for me, I just like I said, there's I talk more politics on the show and sometimes some sports, but for me, when it comes to spirituality, I look at what works for people. If it works for you, as long as you leave, this is where my political side of me comes in. As long as you leave people be, let people do what as long as they're not hurting anyone,
I
then
agree. Yeah.
I go at the end of, like, I remember my son was born premature,
Okay.
and he was in the hospital for 3.5 months. It just so happened someone I knew in high school worked at the hospital,
Mhm.
and he was a Buddhist, and he goes to me, he goes, I wanted to put one of our statues in his crib in the NICU. And he goes, but I didn't want to offend you. And I said, no, please. I said, he needs all the positive energy and all the good vibes and all the prayers
Yeah.
that he need that, that he could use. Because I'm like, I told him I'm not offended by that. I'm, for me, it was like, oh, well, thank you that you care enough to want to do that.
That's
Because
beautiful. That's how it should be. We're all just here for one another. It doesn't matter what religion you're in. It's one source, it's all, and if you're in your heart space, your heart chakra, you're good. You're always going to be connected, you just have to be a good soul. You don't have to follow every trend, or you just have to be a good person,
yeah, no, I remember,
respect each other.
I was friends with this Muslim lady when I was in Texas, and she was like, we were friends until it came into like, kind of politics screwed it up, because she was like, well, it was one of those, well, if you don't believe like I believe, then no, we can't be friends. And I'm like, remember you said that, because she was always used to complain about other people, and I'm like, here you are doing the same thing to me. I'm like, I'm saying let's agree to disagree, because that's, to me,
Yeah,
I go, at the end of the day, if we're not going to see eye to eye, then let's just get to a point where we can amicably say, you know what, let's agree to disagree, because we're not going to see eye to eye, and let's leave it at that. But sometimes people prefer to be right than to be clear.
that's the problem. Like in our spirituality, like us, like we really don't connect ourselves to like the religions or the politics, because we know that those things are created to separate humans and to
Hmm.
cause so much turmoil. Because in reality, if you really, really dig deep into it, like religion and politics, they were not supposed to ever be. Like whoever created it with the higher manpower, they knew what they were doing. And if you see everything that's going on with racism and the religion and the politics, everybody's still separated, not realizing that we're all brothers and sisters just trying to walk ourselves home. We should be
Hmm.
helping one another. All the separation is just distraction from us being wholesome and together.
Hmm.
It's
No, I understand. That's why I consider myself like, um, I don't know if you know anything about politics. You ever heard of libertarian?
no, I'm not sure what that is.
Um, well, I'll give you basically libertarians. It's like, they're we basically believe on like more freedom and less, like, less government, so to speak, but
Okay,
less
okay.
people intruding on you. Like, if you
Yeah.
go, if you want to go, smoke pot and get married to your girlfriend. And I mean that as, you know like gay marriage, just my,
Yeah, yeah.
using that as an example, that we're like,
Hmm.
whatever, do you, it's like,
Yeah.
it's none of my business. If that makes you happy, you know what, I look at it, we have one life on this world, and if that's what makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. I can't,
I agree. Yeah.
I don't. In high school, I was the click breaker, because
Okay.
everybody had their click.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I had like friends in like every click, because I just got along with, I mostly got along with everybody. Like I,
Me
you know,
too. Me too. Right. It's so open. Like if nobody messed with you, you're like, I'm cool with everyone.
yeah, I try, it's like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm on the subway. When I lived in New York, one time I
Yeah.
remember I was on the subway, I was with my now wife, and some person starts talking to me, and we're there talking and whatnot. And then we get on the subway, we get on the train, and she goes, so were you going to introduce me to your friend? I'm like, I don't know that person. She
Yeah.
said, what do you mean? You guys were talking like you knew each other. And I'm like, no, just that's how I am. I'm just like, people sometimes they tell me crazy things, and I'm just there like, okay, I'm not, I try not to judge people when it comes to
Yeah.
stuff like that, because you know what, we all have our skeletons, we all have our
Yeah. It's not our
things that we're
place.
not proud of, that we've done
Yeah.
in life. And who am I? I know
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, so why
Yep.
am I judge people on that stuff?
Yep. It's true. We shouldn't be. But that what you just mentioned, like, it's funny. I went to high school. I don't even know if I should say high school just in case anything, but they actually, like, on my first day of school, I went like in the middle of the school year when we moved, and for lunchtime I went into the cafeteria, and there was like a lot of like punk rockers. It was a very white town, so there was like a lot of like white kids there, and I'm sitting there, and when I'm sitting there I see a group of like African American guys, and they come by and they stop, they look at me and they start laughing, and they're like, come here. They're like, why are you in here? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you're not supposed to be in this cafeteria. You're supposed to be in that cafeteria. I was like, there's another cafeteria? They were like, yeah. They were like, they're like, come on, come. Oh my God. When they took me to that cafeteria,
Uh-huh.
all the Spanish people were there, all like the Black people were in there. And I was like, you guys are separated? I was like, what? This is so crazy. And it's sad. Like, and the school system was okay with that. It was like people acknowledged it. It's like, so one cafeteria was for the white, one for the, I'm like, what is
Well,
this?
but you know what? That's how people live. Because look,
Yeah.
I've been around. I've been, I used to live in Philly for a few years. I'm originally from New York. I lived in Texas, but it's just people live next to people who, usually are like them, look like them, or stuff like
Yeah.
that. Just because the fact that it's a comfort level,
Mm-hmm.
so like where I was living in Texas, there's a huge Indian population and
Yeah.
Hindu Indians. So they live like all around each other. And because they live all around each other, they bought the property around there and they built their own Hindu temple.
Yeah. Okay.
So and I remember one time I was driving in the neighborhood and I saw them going to temple
Okay.
for their services. And I was like, that's so cool. Yeah. Cause I'm like, but and that's how sometimes it is. Sometimes I remember I was in Rochester. I went to school in Rochester, New York,
Mm-hmm.
and they're one of the most segregated cities in the country at the time.
Okay.
So literally even their suburbs and even their ghetto were segregated. So you had the white ghetto, the black ghetto, the Spanish ghetto. You had
Oh,
the white suburbs, the black suburbs, and the Spanish suburbs. So
that's
that's just the
crazy.
way
Yeah.
it was.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm gonna
Okay.
hold on for 1 second. I'm gonna pause it.
Okay.
So yeah, so I had to pause it again. I paused it for the audience, but my daughter came down and Stephanie met my daughter. Uh, I've had to do that a few times in some of my videos where it's funny. Sometimes I'm making a video and she's there and she'll be there quiet, and I'll be like, "Be
She's just
quiet,
watching.
be quiet. You gotta be quiet." But she knows that she's she's usually pretty good at it. I'll
Yeah.
be telling her, "Look, Daddy's going downstairs to work because that's the way I make it look to her. This is Daddy's job, so
Mm-hmm.
don't come down. When I'm finished, I finish." So, but she's usually
No.
pretty good about that. So, yeah. So, um, is there anything that you want to like? Anything that we didn't talk about that you maybe want to touch? And um, since
Um,
I'm trying to
I don't
introduce
know.
my
There's still so
audience to
many
new.
things you could ask me. Yeah. Whatever you
Uh,
want. I'm
what
very
about
open. I'm an
what
open book. You can ask
what about you
me.
do a reading? I'm gonna I'm a Pisces.
You want a reading?
I'm an Aquarius.
Your pause.
I'm on the last day of Aquarius, which means I show signs of Aquarius and Pisces. Did you?
Okay. Well, I won't do a whole reading because usually when I do that, I sit with spirit and I clear
Oh
my
yeah, no,
home
no,
and
I understand
I
that.
have to connect with it. But I'll pull some card. I mean, I don't know if you want to do it like that. I'm not really in the element of reading right now, but I can pull cards for you if you want. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, whatever you want to do. I mean, you want to show people what you do a little bit, get a little taste of what
Sure.
you do on.
Okay. So, all right. So I'll do a quick, just regarding, is there anything you want to ask about? You can ask about your business. You can ask about love, your health, or just general, anything that's heavy on your mind, maybe just clarity.
Clarity sounds
Talk to
good
me
because
while
I
I
could.
do
Oh,
this.
because
Just
I'm.
clarity.
Yeah, because like I'm a horrible sleeper because my mind never shuts off.
Oh
So
yeah.
literally, I have to sleep with. Sometimes I got to put earplugs on because also like every little sound wakes me up. Like it could be
You said
the
you're a Pisces?
I'm a Aquarius.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aquarius. Oh, okay, okay.
So every little sound wakes me up. I'm a very light sleeper, and then my mind just is always wandering. Like, I will always tell my wife, I was thinking, and she goes, "You're always thinking." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm always thinking. My mind doesn't shut off." Like I said, it's hard. I have, usually I take melatonin just because when I say my brain is hard for me to shut down, it's really. It's like when I'm
I hear
driving.
you.
When I drive and like I don't get
Mm-hmm.
like I get tired, but I can't fall asleep just because the fact I'm
Okay.
driving. So it's a good time for me, but then when I finish driving and I get like to my final destination, I still have to unwind a little bit, even though if I've been driving, I could be driving for like 12 hours, and I'll get to the to the hotel or to whatever, and it'll still take me like an hour of unwinding before I could fall asleep.
You know what I feel like, and now I do intuitive messages too, so I'm getting messages now as you're talking about this. The fact that you told me before that, people are like very easily to give you information and just talk to you and like kind of pour out their business to you. It's because you're like an empath. You know what an empath is?
Yeah,
Do you know what an empath is?
basically I
right.
have a
Like
big
you're,
heart. I've always been told I
yeah,
have a
and
big heart.
also like, yeah, so like when you're around certain people, it's kind of like you're light and you become kind of like a moth because it just like they feel very comfortable in your energy and it just makes it easier for them to just talk to you. But you have to be super careful with that because what happens is you will get physically drained, like your
Oh,
spirit,
yes.
So being that, like, let's say if you're not connecting with like doing meditation or just like prayer or affirmations to kind of like protect yourself,
Hmm.
you will end up getting drained once you walk away because it's kind of like they kind of sucked out like your energy. And now you're just kind of left with this gap. Like, where do I fill it? And if you're not connecting, doing things to balance out your chakras, like I
Hmm.
mentioned, and
It's
now
funny
that
that
I'm
you say
saying
that
that,
because mhm.
this is the card that you got, the first card, which look what it says, balance. You see it? Could you see it, or is
Yeah,
it
I see it.
blurry?
No, there you go. Now I can see a better balance. Yeah.
Okay, so the first card they're showing you is they want you to have balance. This is the second card, which is spiritual union. You see it?
Hmm.
Okay, so what this basically means is like your angels are asking you to try to connect with yourself. Okay,
Hmm.
like sometimes we may feel like we're in the right state of mind, but like you said, you are feeling like drained here and there. So like in you spiritually connecting, like coming into union with yourself, with your angels, your guides, even your loved ones that are no longer here. A lot of people don't realize that they are our angels and guides as well. So like they will not intervene into your life and help you unless you call forth, And I mean, I don't know like where, like how, if you pray or what's what, but you want to always call for them every day. And the next card you have is solitude. Okay. So they do ask that you make sure you're taking time out for yourself because, I feel like you're taking on a lot of different projects and you're just not taking like self-care. Self-care is so important, regardless whether you're married, you have children. We have to take care of ourselves because if we're not pouring all the love and emotions into us first, how are you going to pour that to the ones that you're trying to care for? You
Hmm.
can't. You're draining yourself. So that's like the messages I'm getting for now for you.
that's 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 so funny. That's so funny because um I keep usually one of the people that I that get me back to that energy is my best friend. We've been friends for um wow 42, so now 30 years.
Okay.
So we've been friends for 30 years. Wow, 30 years.
That
And
sounds like a long time. Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm 42 and we've been friends for 30 years, so
Yeah. You were a
most of
kid.
our life. So she
Yeah.
moved to Florida, and even after she moved to Florida, we stood friends. Like, even before email, we were pen pals. So, and
Okay.
then when she would
That's
come to New
nice. Yeah.
York, she'd come back to New York, we'd hang out and stuff.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Those I feel like people like that, they're we call them like people part of our soul tribe. The universe will always align us with people that will always kind of ground us and bring us back to like that happy place, where
Hmm.
it doesn't matter how long you go without speaking to them. Like when you meet them again, it's like you jump right back to where you at. Like that's
Yes,
wonderful.
that's exactly how we
Yeah,
like.
right. Like
We
nothing.
could we could not see each other for like years, and
Yeah.
once we see each other, it's like we never stop being apart.
Yeah. The connectivity is always there. Yeah, because the
Hmm.
distance really has nothing to do with it. It's kind of on a soul level.
Hmm.
They're part of your soul tribe. It's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
well, what I was going with that is, yeah, like, so we've been failing to connect. Like every time we say she's gonna come over to hang out over here, or me over there, just something always ends up happening. So it's like, so it's
Yeah.
been like, I know I'm in need of like a good, like, one of our good talk sessions where her and I just, share
Yeah.
whatever's bothering us. Because even if it's something that's bothering her and we talk about it, it makes me feel better too. Because it's like, okay, she got it out of her system. Now it's my turn. Let's
Yeah.
get, and we're kind of like that emotional washers. I don't know how better way to say it.
No,
It's like the
it's like I
laundry.
said, it's a mutual, and you guys are not draining from each other.
Hmm.
It's even. It's an even exchange of energy. That's how it
Hmm.
should be. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people in our life that they kind of just take more from us than actually give.
Hmm.
And that's why it's healthy to set boundaries, even with family sometimes. Unfortunately, those are the ones that kind of they don't have the boundaries, they kind of drain us the most. And I
Oh
try to
yeah.
teach people that a lot because a lot of people are like, on this journey, the hardest part is setting those boundaries with your family. And unfortunately, they are the most toxic ones. And you think because they're blood, you have to take
Oh,
that abuse,
look,
and absolutely not.
I love
Absolutely
my
not.
mother, but she is when you talk to her sometimes, she loves to complain. So she just you could be in the greatest of mood. You'll talk to her and you come out depressed. It's like she just
That's
takes it
toxic.
away from you. So like my other
Yep.
siblings
And
talk to her like every day, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm good. You telling me what happened, and if they
Yep.
need me, I'm there.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's my
Yep.
father's the one that's more. Even though I can't, he has a heavy accent, so sometimes it's hard to understand him. But he's the one that's more like cariñoso. I don't know what's like
Yeah,
the
yeah. He has more of the loving energy. I get
yeah.
you.
Hmm.
That's
So
wonderful. But yep, I feel you on that. Like, okay. Oh, look,
oh,
this is so crazy. So the first card you have here says listening to pay close attention, right? These cards I'm pulling now, I like to resonate this with like anything that's in the shadows, like that spirit feels like you need to like work on. And look at the next card. What are we talking about?
boundaries.
Word. You see that, right? That's how spirit
Uh
works. Yep. It's confirmation. Set
huh.
them boundaries. Yeah,
Speak,
but
but no, that's So well, I think that's a good place to leave it at. Is there is there any like other somewhere where people which sites you want to give out so people could follow you or
um well, I guess yeah, they could follow me on my Facebook page. I mean, I don't know if you'd be able to link them on there, but
yeah, I could
I
put it
don't
on
know.
the
I don't.
description.
Yeah.
When I put the description of the video, I'll put uh just your Facebook. Do you want your Instagram or anything or your
You can put
YouTube?
my Instagram and Facebook. Yep, and the YouTube. I forgot I have that as well. So on my
Yeah, I know
YouTube,
you
like
put
I'll
more.
post reading stuff and
Yeah, I
dancing
noticed.
videos because I love to dance.
Yeah, I noticed that you
So
don't put more, like you don't put so many. You do a lot of Facebook Live video, but you don't do a
yeah.
lot of YouTube videos
Yeah,
so
I'm
much.
working on it. I'm just, I'm trying to like navigate so many different things. But I just recently started posting videos there. So I'm gonna be doing more things like recipes.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually working on a book, and
Mm.
that's going to be regarding the chakra system, like I mentioned
Okay.
to you, and foods because I do cook and I bake a lot. I do have like my little business I run from home doing that. So I
Okay.
feel like I want to put this in a book, to help people just eat more consciously.
Hmm.
Some dope recipes also for people that are trying to eat vegan and stuff, and they just don't know which direction to go because
Hmm.
it's not really that hard. You just have to be creative. So I am working on that. So I will be posting more stuff about that
Okay.
too.
Well,
And things to boost your
obviously,
immune system organically.
I was gonna say, well, when you finish the book, I'd love to have you back on. We could talk about your book to
Perfect.
give
Yes,
us,
that would be amazing for
I
sure.
when we get offline, I'm gonna link you up with a friend of mine. He does like
Okay.
um sprouted foods like all almonds and everything. He does like um I, he does it like hydroponically, so it's all organic, it's all clean,
Okay, cool.
it's raw. So like he sent like he sent me some brownies that he does it like with it's all so it was like coconut flour and cocoa powder and I think like either like molasses or honey or something like that. Like it's
Yeah.
all anyway, like I said, offline I'll show you that stuff.
Yeah,
um
yeah, that'd be cool. I
mhm.
appreciate it.
And all right, well, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna say my little ending that I always do. Well, this is Stephanie. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna put her information on the description of the video. You're gonna see her Facebook, her Instagram, and her YouTube. So she's starting off her YouTube. I know she's like she said she's started using her YouTube more now. She does a lot of Facebook Live. So
Yeah.
me, I'm the Right Rican, and you could follow me on Rumble and YouTube, and I'm on social media on Facebook, uh, Twitter, and Gab. I really don't use the Instagram too much, but I'm also on there too. But no, that well. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know in the comments. Have a
Take
good one.
care. Thank you.